Listen to me. I don't know what you're going through right now, but I know this. You didn't come this far just to come this far. This far, there was a reason you started. There was a fire in your chest. There was a vision that kept you up at night. There was a version of you, stronger, smarter, disciplined, unstoppable, that you saw in your mind. And for that version, you were willing to fight. But somewhere along the journey, life punched you in the mouth. You got tired. You got frustrated. You looked around and said, why isn't this happening for me yet? And now you're thinking about quitting. Before you quit, I need you to stop, breathe, and remember why you started. You didn't start that dream because it was easy. You didn't set that goal because it would be comfortable. You started because you were tired of staying the same. You started because something inside you said, I can do more. I can be more. When life hits you, and trust me, it will. You have two choices. You can break down or you can break through. Every champion you admire, every success story you watch, every person you look up to, they all had moments where they wanted to quit. The only difference is that they didn't. When your mind tells you to quit, go back to day one. Go back to the moment you made the promise to yourself. Go back to the hunger. Go back to the pain you said you were done living with. Go back to the nights you cried, the moments you felt lost, the days you swore you'd change your life. That's why you started. And if your why is strong enough, your how will follow. Your why will pull you out of bed when motivation won't. Your why will push you through the days when your body is tired. Your why will keep you going when everyone else stops. You're not quitting. Not today. Not after everything you survived. Not after all the hours you put in. Not after the sacrifices you made. You owe it to yourself to finish what you started. You owe it to the future you. You owe it to the people who believe in you. You owe it to the little voice inside you saying, oh, we can win. Before quitting, remember why you started, and then get back up. Wipe your eyes, straighten your shoulders, and finish the mission. There comes a moment in every journey when the weight on your shoulders feels heavier than the fire in your heart. You look at the path ahead, and suddenly the certainty you once had begins to shake. You start wondering if all this effort is even worth it. The early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices, the setbacks, sometimes they make you question everything. In those moments when your mind whispers, quit, you must go back to the very beginning and ask yourself why you started. Because your reason for starting is stronger than your reason for quitting. It always has been, even if you've forgotten. Think about that first day you made the decision. You didn't wake up and say, let me do something difficult for no reason. No, you made a commitment because something inside you was unsettled. Something inside you wanted change. Something inside you knew you were capable of more than the life you were living. Look, you started with passion, with hunger, with a desire to break cycles, to rewrite your story. There was a picture in your mind, a vision of the person you wanted to become. There was a moment of truth when you said, and no, I'm not living like this anymore. That reason, that fire is still inside you. It doesn't disappear. It just gets buried under exhaustion, fear, and frustration. But it's there and it is stronger than the doubt you feel today. When you think about quitting, you're focusing on the pain of the process, not the purpose behind. The process is always tough. Growth isn't gentle, growth hurts. Every step forward requires you to confront your weaknesses, your insecurities, your bad habits, your old self. And the old you doesn't want to die quietly. The old you fights back, trying to pull you into the comfort of who you used to be. That resistance, that internal struggle, makes you think that quitting will bring relief. It won't. Quitting only gives temporary relief, but guarantees long-term regret. And regret weighs more than discipline ever will. You didn't start because it was comfortable. You started because you were uncomfortable with where you were. Look back at that version of yourself. The one who was tired of losing, tired of settling, tired of being overlooked or underestimated. The one who wanted to prove something, not to the world, but to yourself. That reason mattered then, and it still matters now. Your reason for starting was not weak. It was not shallow. It was born from your pain, your dreams, your hopes, and your desire to transform your life. That kind of reason doesn't fade unless you let it. What you're feeling now isn't a sign to quit. It's a test to see how badly you want what you say you wanted. Everybody wants success when it's convenient. But the ones who actually reach their goals are the ones who stay committed when it's inconvenient, when it's lonely, when it's hard, when nobody claps for them, when nobody believes in them, and when everything seems to be falling apart. That's when your why becomes your power. Your purpose becomes your engine. When your body is tired, your purpose will carry you. When your motivation is gone, your purpose will speak to you. When your doubts get loud, your purpose will remind you you have come too far to go back. Remember the dreams you told yourself you would chase until you caught them. Remember the nights you cried but still said, I'm not giving up. Remember how many times life pushed you down before you finally stood up and said, no more. You weren't weak then. You're not weak now. You just forgot how strong you are. You forgot that every time you survived something that tried to destroy you, it was your why that helped you get back up. Every time something went wrong but you kept going, it was your why guiding you. Every time life felt unfair, but you stayed in the fight, it was your why holding you together. You didn't start this journey because it was guaranteed to be easy. You started because you believed the end result would be worth every struggle, and it will be. You started because you believed you could break generational patterns. You started because you wanted to give your family a better future. You started because you wanted to become the kind of person you could look in the mirror and be proud of. That version of you, your future self, is waiting, and they are begging you not to quit. They are depending on your consistency today for their freedom tomorrow. Think about the people who are silently rooting for you, the ones who believe in you even when you don't believe in yourself. Think about the faces of those who told you, I know you can do it. Think about the people watching you, hoping you become the example they need. Your journey isn't just about you. It's about everyone your success will impact. When you quit, it's not just your dreams that die. It's the hope you could have given someone else. It's the inspiration someone could have taken from your story. You don't realize how many lives your perseverance could change. Life will always give you reasons to quit. Stress, failure, fear, pressure, uncertainty, setbacks, delays. But those are not signs to stop. They're signs you are moving in the right direction. Growth requires resistance. Diamonds are made under pressure. Muscles grow through tension. Trees grow by pushing through the soil. Strength is not developed in comfort. It is developed in the grind, in the struggle, in the discipline of choosing to keep going. When everything inside you screams to stop, your reason for quitting is emotional. It's temporary. It's based on the difficulty of today. But your reason for starting, your why, comes from a deeper place. It comes from your soul, from your identity, from your purpose. It comes from the moments when you looked at your life and said, I refuse to stay here. That reason is bigger than your fatigue, bigger than your frustration, bigger than the challenges you're facing. When you reconnect with that reason, quitting won't even be an option. Think back to all the battles you've already survived. The heartbreaks, the failure, the disappointments, the times you were told unknown, the times you weren't chosen, the moments you felt invisible, the days you thought you wouldn't make it, but you did. You made it through things you once thought would break you. And here you are, still standing, still fighting, still pushing. That alone proves your strength. If you can survive your past, you are more than capable of conquering your future. Some days you are going to wake up and feel like nothing is changing, like you're putting in all this effort and seeing no results. But understand this, just because you don't see growth doesn't mean growth isn't happening. Seeds grow roots before they grow leaves. Most of the progress is happening where you can't see it. Your discipline, your consistency, your effort, they are building a strong foundation necessary for your breakthrough. And breakthroughs take time. They don't happen overnight. You are closer than you think, but you will never know if you quit now. The journey you're on was never meant to be smooth. You weren't chosen for an easy path. You were chosen for a meaningful one. You weren't born to be average. You weren't built for mediocrity. There is something inside you, something powerful, something resilient, something unstoppable that brought you this far. That something is the exact same thing that will carry you to the finish line. Every time you feel like quitting, revisit the moment you started. Revisit that promise you made to yourself. Revisit the dreams you whispered when nobody was listening. Revisit the fire you felt in your chest when you decided you wouldn't let your life continue the way it was. Revisit the struggles that shaped your determination. Revisit the pain that pushed you into your purpose, because that is who you really are, not the tired, frustrated version of you who feels like giving up today. You are the person who dared to start when others were too afraid. And if you were brave enough to start, you are strong enough to finish. There's something people don't tell you when you start chasing your dreams. Motivation won't always be there for you. It comes and goes like the weather. Some mornings you wake up with so much fire in your chest that you feel unstoppable. Other days, you can barely get out of bed. You scroll your phone, hoping to find some spark, some quote, some video that will light you up again. But it doesn't come. And that's when most people quit. Not because they're weak, but because they were depending on something temporary to fuel something permanent. That's why discipline matters more than motivation. Motivation is a feeling. Discipline is a decision. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is a commitment. Motivation is loud and exciting. Discipline is quiet and consistent. And in this life, success belongs to the consistent, not just the inspired. Anyone can work hard when they feel good. Anyone can chase a goal when the energy is high and everything looks possible. But the ones who separate themselves, the ones who rise above, are the ones who show up even when they don't feel like it. Think about the mornings when your alarm goes off and everything inside you says, just stay in bed a little longer. That's where the battle happens. That's where discipline steps in. Discipline tells you, I know you're tired, but we have work to do. Discipline reminds you of the promise you made, not the mood you're in. Mood changes, promises don't. Discipline keeps you aligned with your purpose, even when your emotions are trying to drag you away. People look at champions and think they're always motivated. They're not. They have the same doubts, the same fears, the same lazy mornings as everyone else. The only difference is they refuse to negotiate with themselves. They don't let the moment dictate their mission. They don't ask themselves how they feel. They remind themselves what they want. They understand that if they only worked on the days they felt motivated, they would have failed long before they succeeded. Discipline is what takes over when motivation dies. Discipline is what makes you get up, put in the work, show up again and again and again, even when nobody is watching, even when nobody is cheering, even when nobody believes in you yet. Discipline is what transforms your habits, and your habits are what transform your life. Your future isn't shaped by what you do occasionally, it's shaped by what you do consistently. Most people lose because they live off motivation like it's oxygen. They think they need to feel excited before they act. But feelings lie. Feelings are temporary. Feelings can shift from 1 hour to the next. If your progress depends on your emotions, your life will be unstable. You'll start strong, then stop, then start again, then stop again. You'll spend years moving in circles because you never built the discipline required to go in a straight line. Discipline is the bridge between intention and completion. It takes all your goals, your dreams, your desires, your vision, and turns them into something real. Without discipline, everything stays in your head. Talk about it, think about it, dream about it, but you never live it. With discipline, even the impossible becomes achievable. Not overnight, not without sacrifice, but eventually and undeniably. There will be days when you hate the work. Days when it feels like you're making no progress. Days when you question why you're even trying. Days when life hits you so hard that the last thing you want to do is push forward. Those days aren't a sign to stop. They're a sign that discipline is about to shape you into someone stronger than you were yesterday. Discipline is forged in discomfort. It grows when you push through resistance. It strengthens when you follow through on your commitments, even when the world feels heavy. Think about how many times you told yourself, I'll start tomorrow. Think about how many times you felt motivated in the moment, but lost the momentum the second things got inconvenient. Think about how many dreams you set aside because the excitement faded. Now imagine where you'd be if instead of depending on motivation, you had relied on discipline. Imagine how far you would have come if you showed up every day, even at half your best, instead of only showing up on the days you felt amazing. Discipline doesn't demand perfection, it demands presence. It's about showing up again and again, even if you're tired, even if you're stressed, even if you're not at your best. Consistency beats intensity every single time. You don't need to be extraordinary every day, you just need to be steady. You just need to move forward. One step, one rep, one page, one task at a time. Those small actions repeated over and over build momentum, and momentum is powerful. Momentum makes hard things easier and impossible things possible. People often say, I wish I had your discipline, as if discipline is something you're born with. It's not. Discipline is built. Discipline grows from making small, tough choices every day. It's built from saying, and no to distractions, yes to your future. Every time you choose the harder route over the easier wrong, you strengthen your discipline. Every time you follow through on a promise you made to yourself, you deepen your discipline. Every time you do something you didn't feel like doing, but did anyway, you prove to yourself that you're in control. Discipline is self-respect. When you keep promises to yourself, you build trust in your own ability. You start believing that you are capable, that you are determined, that you are reliable. That belief is powerful. It gives you confidence. It gives you courage. It gives you the internal strength to take on bigger challenges, to dream bigger dreams, to push past the limits you once thought were unbreakable. Most people struggle not because they lack talent or potential, but because they lack discipline. Potential is useless without consistency. Talent dies without effort. Dreams evaporate without routine. The world is full of people who could have been great but weren't consistent enough to become who they were meant to be. Don't let that be your story. Don't let your dreams fade because you waited to feel motivated. The discipline you build today will create the life you want tomorrow. There will be days when nobody claps for you. Days when nobody notices your effort. Days when you feel invisible. Those are the days discipline matters the most. The days when nobody sees your grind are the days that define you. That's when champions are made. They're not made on the podium or on the stage. They're made in the quiet moments when they choose discipline over comfort. You have to train your mind the same way athletes train their bodies. You have to condition yourself to push past your excuses. You have to discipline your thoughts, your habits, your routines. Your mind will try to protect you from discomfort, but growth lives inside discomfort. Discipline teaches you to embrace the uncomfortable. It teaches you to lean into the pain, not run from it. It teaches you to focus on the mission, not the moment. There's a version of you that exists on the other side of consistency. A stronger, smarter, more confident, more capable version. But you'll never meet that version unless you commit to discipline. That version of you doesn't show up after one good day or one good week. They show up after months of showing up, even when it feels pointless. They show up after you refuse to quit when most people would have. They show up because you didn't wait to feel good. You did the work anyway. Discipline is freedom. People think discipline is restrictive, but it's the opposite. Discipline frees you from chaos, from doubt, from regret. Discipline frees you from depending on motivation, which will always fail you at the wrong time. Discipline frees you from guilt because you know you're doing what you're supposed to do. Discipline frees you from mediocrity because you are living with purpose and structure. Discipline frees you from the limitations you placed on yourself because it pushes you to go beyond them. When you look at successful people, you're not seeing motivation. You're seeing discipline. You're seeing years of consistency, sacrifices, late nights, early mornings, and choices nobody else saw. You're seeing someone who decided to keep moving even when they felt stuck. Someone who refused to let emotions dictate their destiny. Someone who understood that the dream doesn't care how you feel. It only responds to what you do. Think about everything you survived to get here. Think about the challenges you overcame, the obstacles life threw at you. You didn't make it this far by accident. You made it because you had moments of discipline, moments when you could have quit but did. Now imagine what would happen if discipline became your lifestyle instead of just a moment. Imagine how much stronger, better, and farther you would go. There will always be days you don't feel like it, days when your motivation is gone, days when your energy is low, days when life feels heavy. But discipline doesn't care about the day. Discipline cares about the goal. Discipline cares about the promise. Discipline cares about the outcome. And if you let discipline guide your steps, you will go farther than motivation could ever take you. There's a truth most people don't want to accept. Motivation fades. It burns bright. It feels good. It gets you started. But it disappears the moment life gets real. And when that motivation fades, when the excitement dies, when the hype is gone, you're left with nothing but yourself, your promise, and the question that will define your future. Will you stay committed when the feeling is gone? Because when emotion fades, commitment must remain. That's the core of greatness. That's the separator. That's the difference between the ones who dream and the ones who execute. You didn't set your goals because you were emotional. You set them because you saw something better for yourself. You looked at your life, your circumstances, your reality, and you said, I can do more, I can become more. Our decision didn't come from a temporary emotion. It came from a deep, persistent desire for transformation. But to get from desire to destiny requires something stronger than motivation. It requires commitment, loyalty to the mission, even on the days you're tired, frustrated, discouraged, or unsure. People don't fail because they lack potential. They fail because they treat their dreams like mood swing. Here, one moment, gone the next. They fail because they expect every day to feel like day one. They want the excitement without the endurance. They want the breakthrough without the consistency. They want the applause without the sacrifice. But life doesn't reward the interested, it rewards the committed. Commitment means showing up when the feeling isn't there. It means doing the work when the excitement evaporates. It means pushing through the days when the results are invisible. It means continuing even when you're not sure if it's working. Commitment is the muscle that keeps you moving when motivation has nothing left to give. Think about all the times you started something strong, maybe a new habit, a new goal, a new mindset, and for a little while, everything felt perfect. You were energized, focused, confident. You believed this time would be different. But then the emotion faded, as it always does, and suddenly everything became harder. Waking up early became a struggle. Staying consistent required effort. The spark that fueled you at the beginning wasn't enough to carry you through the middle. This is where most people fall. They don't fail at the start. They fail in the middle. The middle is where motivation dies and the work begins. The middle is where things feel repetitive, where progress feels slow, where doubts get louder, where results high, where discomfort increases, and where emotional excitement turns into real discipline. The middle is where you discover whether you were motivated or committed. Motivation is a burst. Commitment is a lifestyle. Motivation is a spark. Commitment is the furnace. Motivation pushes you for a moment. Commitment pulls you for a lifetime. Without commitment, you will always start over. With commitment, you will always finish. Every goal has a cost. Not a financial cost, but a mental one, a psychological one, a spiritual one. The cost is consistency. The cost is effort. The cost is doing things over and over again until they become part of who you are. Emotion doesn't pay that cost. Only commitment does. Your dreams are expensive, not in money, but in dedication. And life will check your bank account of discipline to see if you can afford them. When you say you want success, life will ask, are you committed? When you say you want better health, better finances, better relationships, better habits, life will ask, are you committed? When you say you want freedom, purpose, fulfillment, life will ask, are you committed? Because emotional energy can't pay the price. Only commitment can. Commitment is not glamorous. It's not fast. It's not flashy. It's often lonely, quiet, and uncelebrated. It looks like small daily habits that nobody sees. It looks like waking up when you don't want to wake up. It looks like studying when your mind is tired. It looks like working when others are playing. It looks like showing up the 10th, 20th, 100th time, even when the results are nowhere in sight. Commitment rarely feels good in a moment, but it always feels right in the long run. There will be days when emotion tells you to stop. Days when emotion tells you you're not good enough. Days when emotion tells you progress is too slow. Days when emotion tells you the journey is too hard. That's when you have to silence your feelings and activate your commitment. Your emotions don't care about your future. Your commitment does. Your emotions care about comfort. Your commitment cares about completion. Your emotions want relief. Your commitment wants results. You can't trust your emotions on the hard days. You can't let your feelings decide your future. If you do, your life will be unstable, inconsistent, unpredictable. You'll be pulled in every direction by every new emotion that comes your way. You'll start projects and abandon them. You'll build habits and break them. You'll create routines and fall out of them. You'll drift through life with no clear direction because your emotions changed and you changed with them. Huh? Commitment anchors you. It grounds you. It keeps you steady when everything else is shaky. Commitment tells you, oh, we started this for a reason, and we're going to finish regardless of how we feel today. That's power. That's inner strength. That's maturity. That's what separates an average life from an extraordinary one. Look at anyone you admire, the ones who inspire you, the ones who overcame adversity, the ones who achieved greatness. They didn't make it because they were always motivated. They made it because they were committed. When they felt tired, they still showed up. When they felt discouraged, they still pushed forward. When they felt defeated, they still fought. When their emotions lied to them, they listened to their commitment instead. And that's why they made it. The journey you're on will demand that you grow. It will demand that you let go of your old habits. It will demand that you push past your excuses. It will demand that you outgrow your fears. And growth is uncomfortable. Growth stretches you. Growth forces you to confront parts of yourself you've avoided. Motivation won't help you through that. But commitment will. Commitment isn't loud. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need external hype. Commitment is especially powerful when nobody sees you. When nobody is there to cheer you on. When nobody acknowledges your grind. That's when commitment proves itself, not in public displays, but in private discipline. Emotion gives you the idea. Commitment builds the reality. Emotion starts the race. Commitment finishes it. Emotion makes promises. Commitment keeps them. Emotion is why you talked about change. Commitment is why you actually change. If you want to transform your life, you must become someone who honors your commitments more than your emotions. Someone who trusts discipline more than excitement. Someone who values consistency more than temporary pleasure. Someone who doesn't depend on feelings to do what must be done. You must become someone whose commitment is unbreakable. Someone who shows up not because they feel good, but because they said they would. Think about how powerful you would become if you stopped breaking promises to yourself. Think about how many goals you would achieve if you finished everything you started instead of stopping midway. Think about how unstoppable you would be if you remained consistent regardless of your emotional state. That's what commitment gives you. It gives you control over your own life. People often say, I'll do it when I feel ready. But you'll never feel ready. You'll never feel ready. You'll never feel perfectly motivated. You'll never feel perfectly confident. You'll never feel perfectly energized. The people who win are the ones who act without the feeling. They act because they are committed, not because they feel like it. Feelings come and go, but your purpose doesn't. Your emotions shift, but your dreams remain. Your mood changes, but your mission stays the same. When you understand that, you stop giving your emotions the power to sabotage your future. You must learn to work through emotional droughts, to work through mental fog, to work through stress, to work through fatigue, to work through disappointment. Commitment doesn't ask you how you feel. It tells you what to do. It demands action, even imperfect action. And that action compounds over time until your consistent effort rewrites your entire life. There will be days when the only thing pushing you forward is the promise you made to yourself. Days when all you have left is your commitment. But those days are the days that define champions. Those days build grit. Those days strengthen your character. Those days separate the ones who dream from the ones who achieve. There's a future version of you waiting, a stronger, smarter, more disciplined, more resilient, more successful version. You only meet that version if you remain committed long after the emotional excitement is gone. Success is not built on emotion. It's built on repeated action, especially action taken when you feel nothing at all. Remember the dream, remember the goal, remember the vision, remember why you started. Let that memory fuel your commitment. Let that commitment carry you on the days your emotions abandon you. Because the life you want, the life you deserve, is waiting on the other side of consistency. And consistency is born from commitment, not emotion. Discipline is one of those words people love to say but hate to live. It sounds strong, powerful, almost heroic, but practicing it, living it day after day is something far fewer people are willing to do. When you first start a dream, the energy is high, the fire is blazing, the motivation is fresh. You feel unstoppable. You feel like this time is going to be different. But Professor, this time you're going to follow through. But time has a funny way of testing you. As the days pass, the excitement begins to fade. The enthusiasm wears off. The new routine stops feeling new, and then the feeling disappears entirely. That's the moment when most people quit. Not because the work was too hard, but because the emotion they were leaning on wasn't strong enough to sustain them. This is where discipline begins, when the feeling ends. When Eric Thomas says, discipline is staying committed long after the feeling has left, he is describing the difference between people who dream and people who execute, between people who talk and people who transform. Discipline is the bridge between intention and manifestation. It's the daily decision to keep going when your mind screams stop, when your body says rest, when your heart feels empty, and when your environment offers you every excuse to walk away. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's repetitive, quiet, sometimes lonely, and often inconvenient. But it is the cost of greatness, and there's no discount. Most people begin journeys with a burst of excitement, like a rocket being launched. They go to the gym on January 1st with new clothes, new shoes, and new playlists, but by February, the fire has cooled. They start a business full of ideas and enthusiasm, imagining themselves successful, independent, admired. But they underestimate the daily grind, the late nights, the long hours, the frustrations, the setbacks, and the silence that often surrounds the early stages of any dream. They fall in love with the vision, but not with the process. And the process is where discipline lives. Discipline is built in the mornings when the alarm goes off and you don't want to get out of bed. It's built when you choose to study instead of scrolling, when you choose to train instead of relaxing, when you choose to work on your craft even though nobody is watching and nobody is applauding. It is built in the boring days, the tired days, the days when you feel like nothing is moving, nothing is improving, nothing is happening, but you still show up. That is discipline, choosing to show up even when the excitement is gone. People often confuse motivation with discipline. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the engine. Motivation is emotional. It's driven by how you feel in the moment. You watch an inspiring video, hear a powerful speech, see someone succeeding, and you feel a surge of energy. You think, I can do this. But emotion is temporary, comes and goes. It fluctuates with your mood, your environment, your energy, your circumstances. If your dream depends on motivation, your dream will fail because your emotions cannot carry you through seasons of resistance, fatigue, or doubt. Discipline, on the other hand, does not care about feelings. It is a decision, an intentional, consistent, unwavering commitment to a behavior, a standard, or a goal. Discipline is not emotional, it is structural. It's a system you build around yourself so that even when your feelings disappear, your actions remain. Discipline is like a contract you sign with your future self, promising that no matter how you feel today, you will still do what needs to be done. The truth is, feelings are unreliable. You won't always feel inspired. You won't always feel confident. You won't always feel strong. In fact, the bigger your goals are, the more often you will feel discomfort, fear, uncertainty, and fatigue. People assume that successful individuals wake up every day excited to work, but that is a myth. The most disciplined people in the world often don't feel like doing the things they do. They simply do them anyway. That's why discipline is rare, because it requires you to override your feelings, to override your excuses, to override your desire for comfort. It demands self-mastery. It demands that you treat commitments as non-negotiable, the same way you would treat a job you rely on for survival. When discipline becomes part of your identity, you stop negotiating with yourself. There's no maybe I will, I will, or I might. There's only I do. Imagine yourself standing in front of a mountain of dreams, ambitions, goals, and potential. Motivation gives you the courage to start climbing, but discipline is what keeps you climbing when the air gets thin, when the rocks get sharp, when the weather changes, and when the path becomes steep. People who rely on motivation turn back at the first sign of struggle. People who rely on discipline push forward regardless of the struggle. Discipline also comes from having clarity. When you know exactly what you want and why you want it, the decisions you need to make become simpler. Not easier, but simpler. You no longer waste energy debating with yourself. You have already chosen the path. The question isn't whether you feel like following the path. The question is whether you are willing to honor the commitment you made to yourself. That internal commitment is powerful because discipline is deeply connected to identity. When you see yourself as someone disciplined, you behave like someone disciplined. When you see yourself as someone who keeps promises to yourself, you stop breaking them. When you see yourself as someone who is consistent, showing up becomes natural. Identity drives behavior, and behavior creates results. Discipline isn't just about doing hard things. It's also about doing the small things consistently. It's the daily habits, the little choices, the repeated actions that seem insignificant but accumulate into extraordinary results over time. You don't need to do grand things every day. You just need to keep doing the right things every day. 10 minutes of reading every day becomes 60 hours of knowledge in a year. A few healthy meals each week become a stronger body over months. Small efforts done consistently overshadow big efforts done inconsistently. But the greatest challenge of discipline is battling your own mind. The mind is brilliant at creating reasons to delay, to avoid, to procrastinate, to relax, adjust for today, to take the easy path, to postpone the difficult tasks until later. But discipline is the counter voice, the voice that says, no, we move now. You cannot silence the excuses entirely, but you can overpower them. To build that internal strength, you must practice discipline when the stakes are small, so you are prepared when the stakes are high. Every time you make a commitment and follow through, even in something simple, you strengthen your internal trust. You teach yourself that you can rely on your own word. That self-trust becomes the foundation of discipline. Another important dimension of discipline is sacrifice. You cannot have everything at once. To get something meaningful, you must give up something comfortable. Discipline forces you to choose what matters most over what feels good now. Do you sacrifice your dream for immediate pleasure, or do you sacrifice immediate pleasure for your dream? That choice is the essence of discipline. And when you practice sacrifice long enough, something remarkable happens. You transform. You become sharper, stronger, more resilient. You become someone who is not controlled by impulses or distraction. You develop mental armor. You build the ability to endure discomfort. And once you can endure discomfort, you can do almost anything. People see the results of discipline, success, confidence, recognition, achievement, but they rarely see the daily battle behind it. They don't see the early mornings, the late nights, the rejections, the doubts, the failures, the repeat attempts, the quiet frustration, the sweat, the solitude. They don't see the moments when you wanted to quit, but didn't. Discipline happens in the hidden spaces of your life, not the public one. It is forged in private long before it is rewarded in public. Eventually, discipline creates momentum, and momentum creates transformation. When you stay consistent long enough, the tasks that once felt difficult become part of who you are. What used to feel like a burden becomes a routine. What used to require effort becomes automatic. And once discipline becomes part of your identity, you become unstoppable. Discipline also frees you. It frees you from regret, because regret only comes when you know you didn't give your all. It frees you from inconsistency, because inconsistency drains energy. It frees you from chaos, because structure brings clarity. It frees you from self-doubt, because every disciplined action reinforces your own strength. And perhaps the most powerful thing about discipline is how it affects your future. Every disciplined decision pushes your future self closer to greatness. Every undisciplined decision steals from your future self. When you understand that your life is shaped not by one big choice, but by thousands of small ones, you begin to treat every decision with intention. You become aware of how discipline builds destiny. And all of this begins the moment the feeling leaves. Because when the feeling is gone, the real work begins. When motivation fades, discipline steps forward. And when discipline steps forward, transformation becomes possible. There is a difference between wanting something and being willing to do what it takes to get it. So give one success, but they are not willing to pay the price. Most people want wealth, recognition, happiness, or fulfillment, but they are not willing to endure the struggle, to sacrifice, to be patient, or to push past the discomfort. Desire alone will never take you to your dreams. Desire will get you excited for a moment, but it will fade when the grind gets hard. The truth is that your ability to achieve anything in life depends not on how badly you want it, but on how committed you are when it gets difficult. And this is where most people fail. They give up before their breakthrough because their desire wasn't backed by discipline, by consistency, by resilience. They didn't understand that the struggle is the process, that hardship is the pathway, that discomfort is the bridge between where they are and where they want to be. You see, life doesn't reward desire. Life rewards action. It rewards effort. It rewards consistency. It rewards people who show up even when they are tired, even when they feel broken, even when they have no motivation left. You may not feel like continuing. You may be exhausted. You may be overwhelmed by everything life has thrown at you, but that is exactly the moment you need to push harder. That is exactly the moment you need to be relentless. That is exactly the moment that will define whether you are ordinary or extraordinary. You cannot quit at the point where your dreams are testing your commitment, because the difference between those who succeed and those who fail is measured precisely in those moments when you feel like giving up. Most people quit right before the breakthrough. They quit when progress is invisible. They quit when the effort seems greater than reward. They quit when it's uncomfortable to keep going. But champions, leaders, and high achievers do not quit at that point. They lean into it. They endure. They understand that discomfort is part of growth. They understand that pressure is part of progress. They understand that every obstacle, every failure, every setback, every rejection is a signal that they are moving forward. Quitting is easy, continuing is hard, but continuing is how your destiny is created. If you want to be successful, you must accept that life is going to challenge you. It will push you to your limits. It will test your patience. It will demand more than you think you have. It will try to convince you that giving up is the smarter option. And in those moments, you have to make a decision. Will you allow yourself to be defeated by your circumstances, or will you rise above them? Will you let fear, doubt, and discomfort control your choices, or will you let your vision, your purpose, and your commitment lead you forward? The people who make it, the people who achieve greatness, are those who choose the latter. Your mindset is your greatest weapon. If you think small, you will live small. If you believe quitting is an option, it will be. But if you decide that quitting is unacceptable, that failure is not permanent, that every setback is temporary, then you can endure anything. You have to program your mind to see challenges as opportunity, to see struggle as training, to see pain as a signal that you are growing. Your thoughts determine your actions, determine your results, and your results determine your life. Change your thinking, and you change everything. You must also understand the power of discipline. Discipline is what separates the dreamers from the doers. Desire alone is fleeting, but discipline is consistent. Discipline shows up even when you don't feel like it. Discipline carries you through when motivation disappears. Discipline is the muscle that allows you to push past excuses, to fight through obstacles, and to keep going when everything inside you says stop. People want the rewards of hard work without the responsibility of discipline, but discipline is the currency of success. Without it, dreams remain dreams. With it, they become reality. Consistency is equally critical. Success is not a one-time event. It is the result of repeated actions over time. Small daily efforts compound into massive results. Every day you choose to push, to study, to practice, to improve, to sacrifice. You are building the life you want. Every day you choose comfort over effort, distraction over focus, excuses over action. You are delaying your success. The results you desire are a direct reflection of the habits you cultivate. Champions know this. They build habits that serve their goals. They master the art of showing up, even when it is inconvenient. They understand that greatness is forged in the mundane, repeated disciplined actions that the world often overlooks. Failure is part of the journey, not the end of it. You will fall. You will stumble. You will make mistakes. You will face rejection. You will feel like giving up. But failure is not a reflection of your worth. It is feedback. It's information about what you need to adjust, improve, or change. The people who succeed are those who refuse to let failure define them. They learn from it, adapt, and keep moving forward. Every failure becomes a lesson. Every lesson becomes experience. And every experience becomes fuel for your next success. Your environment plays a significant role in shaping your outcome. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, who inspire you, who hold you accountable, and who refuse to accept mediocrity. Limit exposure to negativity, doubt, and distractions. Success is contagious. Contagious. The people you spend the most time with influence your mindset, your habits, and your decisions. Be strategic about your environment. Choose to be around those who elevate you, who push you forward, and who reflect the person you want to become. You must also embrace patience. Nothing worth achieving comes instantly. The process takes time. There will be moments when progress seems invisible. There will be moments when you feel like your efforts are wasted. There will be moments when it feels like the world is moving faster than you. But the reality is that growth is compounding, invisible, and gradual. Your persistence through those invisible stages determines whether you reach your goals. Trust the process, even when it feels slow. Your patience will pay off, and your perseverance will define your future. Motivation is unreliable. You cannot depend on it. There will be days when you don't feel like it. There will be days when inspiration is gone. There will be days when everything inside you wants to quit. That is why discipline, consistency, and commitment must carry you through. Champions don't wait for motivation. They create it through action. They move forward regardless of how they feel because they understand that feelings are temporary, but results are permanent. Vision is your anchor. When the struggle feels unbearable, your vision reminds you why you started. When doubt clouds your mind, your vision pulls you forward. When fear tells you to quit, your vision challenges you to persevere. You must keep your vision alive. Write it down, speak it daily, see it in your mind. Let it remind you that the sacrifices you make today are investments in the life you want tomorrow. The bigger your vision, the more resilient you become in the face of obstacles. Every choice matters. Every decision has consequences. Every action is either moving you toward your goal or away from it. You cannot afford to waste time, energy, or focus on things that don't serve your purpose. Small choices accumulate. Daily decisions compound. The life you live tomorrow is a reflection of the choices you make today. Your future self is counting on you to make decisions that serve them, not sabotage them. Be intentional with your time, your energy, and your focus. Remember, the struggle is temporary, but the rewards are lasting. The pain, sacrifice, and effort you endure today are investments in a future filled with freedom, achievement, and fulfillment. You must embrace the grind, endure the discomfort, and persist through the challenges. Success is not given, it is earned. It is earned through action when no one is watching, through persistence when everything seems impossible, and through the refusal to quit when the journey gets hard. You have greatness inside of you, but it requires action to be realized. You have dreams inside of you, but they require discipline, consistency, patience, and resilience to become reality. You have potential inside of you, but potential alone is meaningless without execution. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't. Simple. Some people take action, and some people don't. Some people persevere, and some people quit. Some people endure, and some people surrender. Which one will you be? The truth is, no one will do it for you. No one will chase your dreams for you. No one will push through your struggles for you. You must do it yourself. You must take ownership of your life. You must fight for your future. You must refuse to. The path is hard, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it feels impossible. Your commitment, your persistence, and your discipline will be the only thing that separates you from the life you desire. There are moments in life when you feel the weight of the world pressing down on you, when it seems like everything is against you, and giving up feels like the easiest option. But let me tell you something. Every person who has ever achieved greatness has faced those moments. Every champion has stood at the edge of quitting. Every successful entrepreneur, every world-class athlete, every visionary, every innovator has stared at obstacles so big that their dreams seemed impossible. And what separated them from the people who failed, from the people who gave up, was one thing: they refused to quit. They understood that persistence is more important than talent, that endurance outweighs skill, and that courage matters more than comfort. Life will test you. Life will challenge you. Life will challenge you. Life will try to convince you to stop. But the people who push past those challenges are the ones who change their destiny. You see, quitting is always tempting because it is easy. It requires no effort, no struggle, no confrontation with your fears. It allows you to retreat into comfort, to escape pain, to avoid failure. But comfort never creates progress. Comfort never builds strength. Comfort never delivers results. In fact, the life of comfort is often the life of regret. When you quit, you do not only stop moving forward, you are also setting yourself back. You return to the place you once swore you would leave, the place that made you desperate, the place that made you dream of something better. Quitting is a trap disguised as relief, and too many people fall for it every day. Every time you think about quitting, you must remember why you started. Think back to that moment of desperation, that moment when you were tired of the way things were, that moment when you promised yourself that life would be different. Remember the tears you shed, the frustration you felt, the anxiety that kept you awake at night. Remember the hunger in your heart, the fire in your soul, the voice that refused to accept mediocrity. That fire is still inside you. That voice is still waiting for you to listen. And if you quit now, you betray everything that motivated you to begin in the first place. Obstacles are not a sign that you are on the wrong path. They are proof that you are on the right one. Every challenge, every difficulty, every setback is a test of your commitment. The universe will not give you a free ride to success. It will not hand you your dreams on a silver platter. You must earn them. You must fight for them. You must work harder, push further, and endure longer than anyone else. And in the moments when the pain is greatest, when it seems impossible to continue, that is when your character is being forged. That is when your future self is being built. That is when greatness is being planted in your soul. Your future self is depending on the choices you make today. Every time you decide to push forward, to fight through the pain, to resist the temptation to quit, you are investing in the person you are becoming. Every time you choose discipline over ease, effort over comfort, and persistence over surrender, you are shaping a future that your past self could only dream about. Every decision you make matters, and your future self will be grateful for the strength, courage, and commitment you demonstrate now. On the other hand, every time you quit, you are stealing from that future self, robbing yourself of potential and creating a life of regret. Quitting is not just a momentary decision, it is a habit. Once you allow yourself to quit once, it becomes easier to quit again. The mind begins to accept surrender as an option. The body begins to seek comfort over challenge. The spirit begins to doubt its own power. And soon, you find yourself trapped in a cycle of giving up, settling, and never reaching your potential. But if you make the decision to refuse quitting, to endure, to persist, you break that cycle. You train yourself to be relentless. You train yourself to be unstoppable. You train yourself to be a person who overcomes rather than retreats, who conquers rather than surrenders. Every successful person has failed countless times. Every world-class athlete has lost matches. Every entrepreneur has faced bankruptcy. Every artist has been rejected. Every leader has been doubted. Failure is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that you are trying. Failure is not an endpoint. It is feedback, information, a roadmap for improvement. Quitting is the only true failure. As long as you keep going, as long as you continue to fight, as long as you refuse to give up, you are still in the game. And when you persist long enough, when you endure long enough, when you refuse to quit long enough, success becomes inevitable. Motivation is fleeting. Inspiration comes and goes. There will be days when you feel strong, energized, and unstoppable. And there will be days when every step feels heavy, every obstacle feels insurmountable, and every moment feels like a battle against yourself. On those difficult days, discipline is your weapon. On those hard days, commitment is your anchor. On those moments when quitting feels easier than continuing, the reason you started, the vision you hold, and the promise you made to yourself must carry you forward. That's what separates those who succeed from those who fail. You must embrace discomfort. You must lean into the struggle. You must accept that growth is not easy, that change is not comfortable, that transformation is not convenient. Anything worth achieving requires effort, sacrifice, and endurance. The pain you feel today is preparing you for the person you will become tomorrow. The setbacks, the failures, the obstacles, they are shaping you, molding you, strengthening you. Quitting only stops that process. Continuing propels it. Discipline, consistency, and resilience are the pillars of success. Discipline allows you to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. Consistency allows small efforts to compound into massive results over time. Resilience allows you to recover from failure, to adapt, and to continue moving forward even when the journey is difficult. Together, these qualities build the foundation for a life of achievement and fulfillment. Without them, dreams remain dreams, hopes remain unfulfilled, and potential remains unrealized. Your environment matters. Surround yourself with people who encourage your growth, who challenge you, who hold you accountable, and who refuse to accept mediocrity. Remove distractions, eliminate negativity, and limit time spent with those who do not support your vision. The people, places, and things around you influence your mindset, your habits, and your results. Choose wisely, because your environment can either lift you towards success or pull you back into complacency. Patience is also essential. Success is rarely instant. Results take time. Growth takes time. Mastery takes time. Every moment you invest, every effort you make, every challenge you overcome is a step toward your goals, even if you cannot see immediate results. Trust the process. Understand that the journey is as important as the destination. Each step forward builds momentum. Each moment of endurance strengthens your character. Each act of persistence moves you closer to the life you desire. Quitting is a choice, and so is persistence. You have the power to choose. You can choose to give in to the discomfort, to stop when the journey is hard, to settle when the results are delayed. Or you can choose to push forward, to endure, to fight, to keep going until you succeed. Every choice matters. Every decision shapes your destiny. Every moment is an opportunity to prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought possible. Remember why you started. Remember the fire that ignited your journey. Remember the dreams, the hopes, the goals, and the promises you made to yourself. That is your anchor when the storm rages. That is your compass when the path is unclear. That is your fuel when motivation runs dry. Your why is stronger than your want. It is deeper than your desire. It is the reason you refuse to quit, the reason you endure, the reason you persist when others give up. Success is not about luck. It's not about talent alone. It is about resilience, perseverance, discipline, consistency, patience, and commitment. It is about showing up every day, doing the work even when no one is watching, continuing when it is uncomfortable, and refusing to let temporary setbacks define your future. Quitting is the easy way out, but it is a trap that leads to regret. Continuing, despite the pain, despite the obstacles, despite the fear, is what leads to greatness. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to prove to yourself that you are stronger than you thought. Every failure is a chance to learn and grow. Every difficult moment is a test of your commitment. And every time you refuse to quit, you are one step closer to the life you envisioned when you first started. You are writing a story of resilience, determination, and triumph. You are creating a legacy that will inspire not only yourself, but others who witness your journey. Your dreams are worth fighting for. Your potential is worth the struggle. Your future is worth the sacrifice. Quitting is a choice, but so is persevering. Choose wisely, choose persistent, choose commitment, choose discipline, choose greatness. That life will test you in ways you cannot imagine. It will push you to your limits, shake your confidence, and make you question why you even started. You will face obstacles that seem insurmountable, setbacks that feel unfair, and moments when the weight of the world is on your shoulders. It is in these moments when everything inside you wants to quit that your character is being forged. Every challenge, every difficulty, every hardship is not a punishment, it is preparation. Life is preparing you for the person you are meant to become, the strength you are meant to have, the resilience you are meant to embody, and the greatness you are meant to achieve. The pain, the struggle, and the frustration are all part of the process. They are shaping you, molding you, teaching you lessons that comfort never could. Too many people give up too early because they are unwilling to endure the discomfort required for growth. They want the results without the struggle, the reward without the effort, the success without the discipline. They fail to understand that greatness is not given, it is earned. It is earned through hard work, through perseverance, through long nights of preparation, through early mornings when the world is still asleep, and through moments when no one is watching. Every setback is an opportunity to grow stronger. Every challenge is a chance to learn. And every failure is a stepping stone toward the life you are meant to create. The journey is not easy, but the destination is worth every ounce of effort you put in. When life breaks you, it is not the end. It is an invitation to rise strong. Every person who has achieved anything meaningful has faced moments of brokenness, moments of despair, and moments when it seemed like all hope was lost. They understood that pain is temporary, but the lessons it teaches are permanent. They realized that the only way to truly succeed is to embrace adversity, to lean into discomfort, and to refuse to be defeated by circumstances. It is in the struggle that you discover your strength. It is in the hardship that you find your purpose. It is in the pain that your character is built. Many people are afraid of failure, but failure is not the enemy. Failure is feedback. It is a guide, a teacher, a signal that something needs to change. Every mistake you make, every setback you encounter, every time you fall short is a chance to learn and improve. Champions do not fear failure. They embrace it, analyze it, and use it as fuel to propel them forward. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not talent, intelligence, or luck. It is the ability to keep going when failure tries to stop you. It is the refusal to quit when the road is rough, the vision is unclear, and the journey is exhausting. Your mindset determines your outcome. If you see obstacles as reasons to give up, they will be. If you see challenges as opportunities to grow, they will become stepping stones to your dreams. Life will not always be easy, but it is never meaningless. Every struggle, every hardship, every tear, every sleepless night has a purpose. The way you respond to these moments define the trajectory of your life. Do you let them defeat you, or do you use them as fuel? Do you give up when it gets hard? Or do you rise above, dig deeper, and push through with relentless determination? Discipline is your greatest ally when motivation fails. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes depending on how you feel, the environment, and external circumstances. Discipline, however, is consistent. Discipline allows you to continue working when the excitement has worn off, when your energy is low, and when every fiber of your being wants to stop. Discipline is the muscle that carries you through the long journey, the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Without discipline, talent is wasted, dreams remain dreams, and potential goes unrealized. Consistency compounds results over time. Every small effort, every tiny action, every moment of persistence adds up. You may not see the immediate impact, but over time, the cumulative effect of your efforts will create transformation. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not a single heroic act. It is the repeated, consistent effort that continues even when it is hard, boring, or thankless. Each day you push forward, you are laying a brick in the foundation of your future. Each day you refuse to quit, you are shaping the person you are becoming. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. You cannot avoid hardship, disappointment, or loss. Life will break you in some way, shape, or form, but how you respond determines whether you suffer or whether you grow. You can let adversity define you, or you can let it refine you. You can allow setbacks to destroy your confidence, or you can allow them to strengthen your resolve. You can focus on what is missing, or you can focus on what is possible. The choice is yours. Purpose is your anchor. When everything feels uncertain, when obstacles are overwhelming, when you feel like giving up, purpose is what keeps you grounded. Purpose gives you a reason to endure, a reason to fight, a reason to keep going when the world seems against you. It is your internal compass guiding your decisions, shaping your actions, and giving meaning to your struggle. Without purpose, pain is unbearable. With purpose, pain becomes a tool for growth, a signal that you are on the right path, and a catalyst for transformation. Every challenge is an opportunity to prove your strength. Life will not hand you what you want. You must earn it. You will encounter naysayers, critics, and doubters, but their opinions do not determine your destiny. Only your actions do. Every time you rise after falling, every time you try again after failing, every time you push through when it hurts, you are proving to yourself that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. These moments of resilience are the building blocks of greatness. They are the foundation upon which extraordinary lives are built. Your past does not define you. Your mistakes, failures, and regrets do not determine your future. What matters is the action you take today. What matters is the mindset you cultivate, the discipline you practice, and the persistence you demonstrate. You cannot change what has already happened, but you can shape what is yet to come. The person you are becoming is not defined by your past. It is defined by the choices you make in this moment. Courage is essential. It is easy to quit. It is easy to take the path of least resistance. It is easy to settle for mediocrity. But greatness requires courage. The courage to face fear. The courage to endure pain. The courage to keep moving forward when everything inside you stops. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to act despite fear. Every act of courage builds confidence. Every moment you push through fear strengthens your character. Every time you refuse to quit, you prove to yourself that you are capable of handling more than you thought. Gratitude transforms struggle. When life breaks you, it is tempting to focus on what went wrong, what you lost, or what you don't have. But those who rise above learn to see the lessons, the growth, and the opportunities hidden within hardship. Gratitude shifts your perspective from victimhood to empowerment. It allows you to see adversity as a teacher, not a tormentor. It reminds you that even in the darkest moments, there is something to be learned, something to be gained, and something to be grateful for. Resilience is developed, not given. You cannot become resilient by avoiding challenges. You become resilient by facing them head on, by enduring when it hurts, by learning from failures, and by refusing to bother. Every difficulty you encounter is an opportunity to strengthen your resilience. Every setback you overcome makes you tougher, wiser, and more capable of handling the challenges ahead. Life will not get easier, but you will get stronger. Success is a journey, not a destination. It is not defined by wealth, fame, or recognition. It is defined by the ability to endure, to grow, and to become the best version of yourself despite life's hardships. It is the ability to rise after every fall, to keep moving forward when the world is against you, and to remain committed to your purpose, even when it seems impossible. True success is the mastery of self, the courage to face adversity, and the discipline to continue when most people would quit. When life breaks you, remember that it is also shaping you. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every failure is a lesson in disguise. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more capable. The pain you feel today is the power you will wield tomorrow. The struggles you endure now are preparing you for the victories ahead. Your endurance, your persistence, your commitment, and your courage are the tools that will carry you to success. The choice is yours. You can allow life to break you, or you can allow it to build you. You can succumb to pain, or you can rise through it. You can quit when it gets hard, or you can keep going until you succeed. Your greatness is on the other side of your struggle, but only if you refuse to give up. Only if you keep moving forward. Only if you fight for the life you were meant to live. Life has a way of testing us in the moments we least expect, of confronting us with challenges that feel bigger than our capacity, of pushing us to the edge of our limits. There are moments when giving up seems like the only reasonable option, when the weight of the struggle feels unbearable, when everything inside of you screams that it is too hard, too painful, too impossible to continue. Yet those are precisely the moments that define who you are. Those are the moments that separate those who achieve greatness from those who settle for mediocrity. Every person who has ever accomplished anything meaningful has faced moments of doubt, moments of exhaustion, moments of defeat, and moments of despair, The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not the absence of struggle, but the refusal to allow struggle to determine their outcome. You have to understand that life will break you at times, not to punish you, but to prepare you, to shape you, to strengthen you, and to reveal the depth of your resilience. Quitting is easy. It offers relief, comfort, and escape. It eliminates the immediate stress, the pain, and the responsibility of continuing. But quitting also guarantees failure, regret, and unfulfilled potential. Every time you quit, you choose the path of least resistance over the path of greatness. You choose temporary comfort over long-term achievement. You choose surrender over perseverance. And that is why most people never reach their full potential. They allow the discomfort of the moment to dictate the course of their lives. They give in to the feelings of fear, doubt, and exhaustion, never realizing that those feelings are temporary, while the results of persistence last a lifetime. Remember why you started. Every dream, every goal, every vision you have began with a spark, a fire inside you that refused to be ignored. You had a reason for wanting to change your life, for pursuing excellence, for striving for something greater. That reason is still alive within you. It may be buried beneath frustration, fatigue, and temporary setbacks, but it has not disappeared. That is the reason you push past fear. That is the reason you endure pain. That's the reason you fight when every instinct tells you to give up. Your why is stronger than any obstacle, more powerful than any excuse, and deeper than any momentary discomfort. When life challenges you, when it breaks you, when it tests your limits, your why is the anchor that keeps you grounded, focused, and moving forward. Challenges are inevitable. You will encounter obstacles, setbacks, failures, and rejection. You will face moments when it seems the world is against you, when circumstances are unfair, when doors close and opportunities vanish. Life is not designed to be easy. It is designed to test your commitment, your character, and your courage. But these challenges are not your enemies. They are your teachers. Every failure is a lesson. Every rejection is a guide. Every difficulty is a tool to shape your resilience, your wisdom, and your strength. The people who succeed are not those who never face adversity. They are those who rise above it, who learn from it, and who persist despite it. Persistence is more important than talent. Talent alone will not carry you to the life you want. Talent without discipline is wasted. Talent without resilience is fragile. Talent without consistency is fleeting. The people who reach extraordinary levels of achievement are not always the most talented. They are the ones who refuse to quit. They show up every day. They keep going when it hurts. They continue when it is uncomfortable. And they endure when the world doubts them. You have to understand that your capacity for persistence will ultimately determine your level of success. It is not how much you want it. It is how long you are willing to keep going when the going gets tough. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes depending on your mood, circumstances, or external validation. Discipline, however, is consistent. Discipline allows you to do what must be done, even when you do not feel like it. Discipline carries you through when motivation fades, when energy is low, and when life feels overwhelming. Discipline builds character, endurance, and confidence. Without discipline, your dreams remain aspirations. With discipline, they become reality. Champions are not motivated every day. They are disciplined every day. They have trained themselves to show up regardless of how they feel, because they know that feelings are fleeting, but results are permanent. Consistency compounds success. Every action, no matter how small, adds up over time. Every day you push forward, every effort you make, every choice to continue despite discomfort compounds into progress. Most people fail because they underestimate the power of small, repeated actions. They look for instant results, quick fixes, or overnight success. And when it does not happen immediately, they give up. True achievement is the result of relentless daily effort. Every moment you choose to persist, you are laying a foundation for your future. Every time you refuse to quit, you are strengthening the habit of excellence, the muscle of resilience, and the mindset of a winner. Failure is not final, it is feedback. Every setback you experience is a signal that something needs to be adjusted, learned, or improved. Every rejection you face is an opportunity to grow stronger and wiser. Every difficulty you endure is a chance to refine your skills, deepen your understanding, and expand your capacity. Life is a classroom, and every challenge is a lesson. The people who succeed are those who embrace failure, who study it, who learn from it, and who continue moving forward regardless of how many times they fall. Your mindset shapes your destiny. If you view challenges as reasons to quit, they will be. If you view challenges as opportunities to grow, they will become stepping stones to success. Your thoughts determine your actions determine your results, and your results determine your life. You cannot control every circumstance, every obstacle, or every setback, but you can control how you respond. You can choose to see difficulties as insurmountable barriers, or you can choose to see them as opportunities for growth. The difference lies in your perspective. Purpose is your anchor in moments of uncertainty. When the road is difficult, when the journey is long, when motivation is low, and when the world seems against you, your purpose keeps you grounded. It reminds you why you began what you are fighting for, and who you are striving to become. Without purpose, pain is unbearable. With purpose, pain becomes fuel. Purpose transforms challenges into opportunity, setbacks into lessons, and struggle into growth. It is your guiding light, your internal compass, and the reason you refuse to quit when life breaks you. Courage is essential. Quitting is easy. Continuing is hard. Success requires the courage to face fear, the courage to endure pain, and the courage to keep moving forward when everything inside you says stop. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to act despite fear. Every act of courage strengthens your confidence. Every time you push past fear, you expand your capacity. Every challenge you overcome builds a foundation for future success. Greatness is born from the courage to continue in the face of adversity. Resilience is developed through experience. You cannot become resilient by avoiding challenges. You become resilient by facing them, enduring them, and learning from them. Every difficulty, every setback, every moment of struggle strengthens your ability to handle the challenges that lie ahead. Life will not get easier, but you will get stronger. The hardships you face today are the training ground for your victories tomorrow. Resilience allows you to bend without breaking, to endure without surrendering, and to grow stronger with every obstacle. Gratitude transforms struggle into empowerment. When life breaks you, it is easy to focus on what went wrong, what you lost, or what you did not have. But those who rise above see the lessons hidden in adversity. They see the growth, the knowledge, and the opportunities that challenges provide. Gratitude shifts your perspective from victimhood to empowerment. It allows you to see that even in the darkest moments, there is something to be learned, something to be gained, and something to be grateful for. Your actions determine your results. Dreams alone are not enough. Vision alone is not enough. Desire alone is not enough. You must act consistently and persistently. You must push through discomfort, endure challenges, and persist when the world doubts you. Your choices, your effort, and your perseverance will ultimately determine whether you succeed or fail. Every decision matters. Every action counts. Every action. The life you live tomorrow is shaped by the choices you make today. When life breaks you, it is not the end. It is a beginning. It is a chance to rise stronger, to fight harder, to push further, and to achieve more than you ever thought possible. Every setback is an opportunity to build resilience. Every challenge is a chance to grow. Every failure is a lesson in disguise. And every time you refuse to quit, you move closer to the life you were meant to live. The fire inside of you is stronger than any obstacle, deeper than any fear, and more powerful than any setback. Life has a way of testing you in ways you never expect. It will push you to the edge, make you question your strength, and challenge your commitment to your goals. You will face moments when giving up seems like the only reasonable option, when the obstacles feel insurmountable, and when the effort seems too great for the reward. But it is precisely in these moments, when everything inside of you tells you to quit, that your character is being defined. Every person who has achieved greatness has stood at the same crossroads, facing the same choices, feeling the same doubt. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not talent, luck, or circumstance. It is their refusal to quit, their decision to persist, their unwavering commitment to push forward no matter what. Life will break you, but it will also reveal your power, your resilience, and your potential. Quitting is easy. It offers a temporary escape from discomfort, pain, and struggle. It allows you to avoid facing fear, challenge, and adversity. But quitting comes with consequences. When you quit, you deny yourself the opportunity to grow, to learn, to strengthen your mind, body, and spirit. You trade the possibility of success for temporary relief, comfort, and avoidance. Too many people choose this path, allowing fear, doubt, and pain to dictate their future. They give up before their breakthrough. They abandon their dreams at the first sign of struggle, and they settle for mediocrity. But those who refuse to quit understand that pain is temporary, that struggle is a teacher, and that persistence is the key to unlocking their potential. Remember why you started. Every dream, every vision began with a purpose. There was a moment when you were hungry for more, desperate for change, and unwilling to accept the life you had. That fire, that drive, that reason is still inside of you. It may be buried beneath fatigue, frustration, and setbacks, but it has not disappeared. That why is your anchor. It is the force that will pull you forward when every instinct tells you to stop. When life breaks you, your purpose is what keeps you grounded, focused, and relentless. It reminds you of what is at stake, of what you are fighting for, and of the person you are striving to become. Obstacles are inevitable. Life will throw challenges, difficulties, and setbacks in your path. Doors will close, opportunities will vanish, and circumstances will test your patience and resolve. But obstacles are not signs that you are on the wrong path. They are proof that you are on the right one. Every challenge is a chance to prove your resilience, to develop your strength, and to refine your skills. Every setback is an opportunity to learn, grow, and improve. The people who succeed are not those who avoid challenges. They are those who face them head on, who endure and who rise above them. Discipline is essential. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes depending on how you feel and your environment. Discipline, however, is constant. Discipline allows you to show up, put in the work, and continue moving forward even when you do not feel like it. It is what separates those who achieve their goals from those who merely dream about them. Talent without discipline is wasted. Dreams without discipline remain fantasies. Discipline is the bridge between desire and achievement, the path that connects vision to reality. Champions rely on discipline, not on temporary bursts of motivation, because they understand that success is a marathon, not a sprint. Consistency compounds results. Every small action, every moment of persistence, every choice to continue despite discomfort builds momentum over time. You may not see immediate results, but every effort repeated day after day adds up to transformation. Most people fail because they underestimate the power of small, consistent actions. They look for instant success, immediate results, or quick fixes. And when they do not see them, they quit. But those who persevere understand that greatness is built through patient, relentless effort. Each day you push forward, you are building the life you desire, strengthening the habits that will carry you to success, and proving to yourself that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. Failure is not defeat. It is feedback. Every setback, mistake, or rejection is a lesson in disguise. Every challenge is a teacher, every struggle a test, and every obstacle a stepping stone toward your ultimate goal. The people who achieve greatness are not those who never fail. They are those who refuse to let failure stop them. They analyze it, learn from it, and use it to fuel their growth. The path to success is paved with setbacks. The road to achievement is lined with failure. What matters is how you respond, how you recover, and how you continue moving forward despite the difficulties. Mindset is everything. The way you perceive challenges determines your outcome. If you view obstacles as reasons to quit, they will be. If you see them as opportunities to grow, they will become stepping stones to success. Your thoughts control your actions, shape your results, and your results define your life. You cannot control every external factor, but you can control how you respond. You can choose to see difficulty as a barrier, or you can choose to see it as a test of your resilience. Your mindset will either limit you or empower you. It is up to you to decide which it will be. Purpose is your anchor. When life becomes overwhelming, when obstacles seem insurmountable, when motivation fades, and when fear threatens to take over, your purpose will keep you grounded. It is the reason you started, the reason you continue, and the reason you refuse to quit. Purpose gives meaning to your struggle, transforms pain into fuel, and turns setbacks into lessons. Without purpose, endurance is meaningless. With purpose, every hardship becomes a training ground for greatness. Your why is more powerful than any obstacle you will face, stronger than any doubt, and deeper than any fear. Courage is required. Quitting is easy, continuing is hard. Success requires the courage to push through fear, endure pain, and keep moving forward when everything inside of you says stop. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is acting despite it. Every time you face your fear, every time you push past self-doubt, every time you refuse to quit, you grow stronger. Courage builds confidence. Courage creates momentum. Courage is the fuel that propels you through adversity and toward your dreams. Resilience is developed through experience. You cannot become resilient by avoiding challenges. You become resilient by facing them, enduring them, learning from them, and rising above them. Every difficulty, every setback, every struggle strengthens your ability to handle future challenges. Life will not get easier, but you will get stronger. The hardships you face today are the training ground for tomorrow's victories. Resilience allows you to bend without breaking, to endure without surrendering, and to grow stronger through adversity. Gratitude transforms struggle into empowerment. Even in the darkest moments, there is something to be grateful for: lessons learned, strength gained, or character built. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is wrong to what is possible, from limitation to potential. It reminds you that even in the midst of hardship, growth is occurring, and you are becoming more capable, more resilient, and more prepared for the life you are destined to lead. Gratitude allows you to see opportunity where others see failure, and possibility where others see despair. Your actions define your results. Dreams, desire, and vision are meaningless without action. You must push through discomfort, face adversity, and persist when it is difficult. Every choice matters. Every effort counts. Every moment is an opportunity to move closer to your goals. The life you live tomorrow is shaped by the decisions you make today. Your commitment, your discipline, your courage, and your persistence will determine whether you succeed or fail. Life will break you, but it will also shape you. Every challenge is an opportunity to prove your strength. Every setback is a lesson in resilience. Every failure is a step closer to mastery. And every moment you refuse to quit, you move closer to the life you were meant to live. You have the power to endure, to grow, to overcome, and to achieve. Your greatness is on the other side of struggle, but only if you choose to persevere. Only if you choose to fight. Only if you refuse to quit when life tries to push you down. Your potential is limitless, your strength is real, and your future is waiting for you to claim it. Life will challenge you in ways you never imagined. It will push you to the edge, test your limits, and confront you with obstacles that seem insurmountable. There will be moments when giving up feels like the only reasonable option, when the weight of your responsibilities, your fears, and your doubts feel unbearable. But it is precisely in those moments that your character is defined, your strength is built, and your destiny is shaped. Every person who has ever achieved greatness has faced moments like this. Every leader, every entrepreneur, every athlete, every innovator has stood at the edge of quitting, staring at the obstacles in front of them and wondering if it's worth it. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not their talent, their luck, or even their opportunities. It is their refusal to quit, their unyielding commitment to persevere, and their decision to keep moving forward no matter how hard life tries to stop them. Quitting is easy. It offers temporary relief, comfort, and escape from the struggle. It allows you to avoid the pain, the discomfort, and the challenge. But quitting comes with a cost. When you quit, you not only deny yourself the opportunity to grow and succeed, but you also create regret, missed potential, and a life unfulfilled. Every time you give up, you reinforce the habit of surrender. You teach yourself that the path of least resistance is acceptable, that settling for less is an option, and that comfort is more important than achievement. Too many people make this choice every day, abandoning their dreams at the first sign of difficulty and living lives far below their true potential. But those who refuse to quit understand that pain is temporary. Struggle is a teacher, and persistence is the key to success. Remember why you started. Every goal, every dream, every vision began with a spark inside you. A moment when you were hungry for more, dissatisfied with the status quo, and unwilling to settle for mediocrity. That fire is still inside of you. It may be buried beneath fatigue, frustration, and setbacks, but it has not disappeared. That why is your anchor. It is the reason you get out of bed when the world tells you to stay down. It is the fuel that drives you through adversity, the compass that guides you through uncertainty, and the reminder that your efforts matter. When life tests you, your purpose is what keeps you grounded, focused, and moving forward, no matter how impossible the path may seem. Obstacles are inevitable. Life will throw challenges, setbacks, and failures at you. Doors will close. Opportunities will vanish. Circumstances will test your patience and resolve. But obstacles are not signs that you are on the wrong path. They are proof that you are on the right one. Every challenge is an opportunity to prove your resilience, develop your strength, and refine your skills. Every setback is a lesson, a stepping stone, and a chance to grow. Those who succeed are not those who avoid difficulty. They are those who embrace it, endure it, and rise above it. Life is not meant to be easy. It is meant to be conquered. Discipline is essential. Motivation is unreliable. It fluctuates depending on mood, environment, and external validation. Discipline is consistent. It is the force that allows you to take action even when you do not feel like it, to persist when the world seems against you, and to show up even when fatigue and doubt tempt you to quit. Discipline bridges the gap between desire and achievement. It is the foundation upon which all success is built. Talent without discipline is wasted. Dreams without discipline remain fantasies. Champions rely on discipline because they understand success is earned through consistent, intentional effort, not fleeting bursts of inspiration. Consistency compounds results. Every small action, repeated daily, creates momentum over time. Every effort, no matter how minor, contributes to long-term success. Most people fail because they underestimate the power of consistent action. They look for instant results, immediate gratification, or quick fixes. And when they do not see immediate success, they quit. Greatness is not built overnight. It is built through persistence, repeated effort, and the willingness to continue when it is inconvenient, uncomfortable, and challenging. Each day you choose to persist, you are laying the foundation for your future, strengthening the habits that will carry you to success and proving to yourself that you are capable more than you ever imagined. Failure is not defeat, it is feedback. Every setback, mistake, or rejection is a lesson. Every challenge is a teacher. Every difficulty is an opportunity for growth. Those who succeed are not those who never fail. They are those who refuse to let failure define them. They analyze it, learn from it, and use it to propel themselves forward. The path to success is lined with failures. Every obstacle you face is an opportunity to refine your skills, improve your strategy, and strengthen your resolve. What separates the successful from the unsuccessful is a refusal to quit in the face of failure. Your mindset shapes your reality. The way you perceive challenges will determine how you respond to them. If you see obstacles as reasons to quit, they will be. If you see obstacles as opportunities to grow, they become stepping stones to success. Your thoughts determine your actions. Your actions shape your results, and your results define your life. You cannot control every circumstance, but you can control your response. You can choose to see adversity as an opportunity rather than a barrier. You can choose to persevere rather than retreat. The power to determine your future lies in your mind, and the decision to keep going is yours. Purpose is your anchor. When everything feels overwhelming, when setbacks threaten to derail your progress, when doubt and fear whisper that you are not enough, purpose keeps you grounded. It reminds you why you started, what you are striving for, and who you are becoming. Without purpose, endurance is meaningless. With purpose, every struggle becomes meaningful, every setback becomes a lesson, and every challenge becomes an opportunity. Your why is more powerful than fear, stronger than doubt, and deeper than any obstacle. It is your guiding light in the darkest moments. Courage is required. Quitting is easy, continuing is hard. Success demands the courage to face fear, endure pain, and keep moving forward even when the odds are stacked against you. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is taking action despite fear. Every act of courage strengthens your resolve. Every time you push past fear, you grow stronger. Every challenge you overcome builds confidence and resilience. Courage is the fuel that drives you through adversity and toward your dreams. Without it, fear dictates your path. With it, you create your destiny. Resilience is developed through experience. You cannot become resilient by avoiding challenges. You build resilience by confronting difficulties, enduring hardships, learning from failures, and rising above adversity. Every setback you face today prepares you for the obstacles of tomorrow. Every struggle strengthens your ability to persevere, adapt, and continue moving forward. Life will not get easier, but you will get stronger. Your resilience is built in the fire of adversity, and your victories are born from your ability to endure. Gratitude transforms struggle into empowerment. Even when life breaks you, there is always something to be grateful for: a lesson learned, a skill developed, a character strengthened. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is lacking to what is possible, from limitation to opportunity. It reminds you that even in the darkest moments, growth is occurring, and you are becoming more capable, more prepared, and more resilient. Gratitude allows you to see opportunity where others see failure, and possibility where others see despair. Your actions determine your results. Dreams alone are not enough. Vision without action is meaningless. Desire without effort produces nothing. You must push through discomfort, face adversity, and persist when it is difficult. Every decision matters. Every effort counts. Every choice shapes the trajectory of your life. Your commitment, your discipline, your courage, and your persistence are what will ultimately determine whether you succeed or fail. Life will break you, but it will also shape you. Every challenge is an opportunity to prove your strength. Every setback is a lesson in resilience. Every failure is a stepping stone toward mastery. And every time you refuse to quit, you move closer to the life you were meant to live. The fire within you is stronger than any obstacle, deeper than any fear, and more powerful than any setback. Your greatness lies on the other side of struggle, but only if you choose to persevere, fight, and refuse to quit. Your potential is limitless, your strength is real, and your future is waiting for you to claim it. When life gets heavy, when the weight of responsibilities begins to feel unbearable, when the path ahead becomes blurry and overwhelming, people often ask themselves why they should keep going. And this question matters far more than most understand. Because at the root of every dream, every goal, every comeback, and every transformation lies a single force. Your why? Your why is the engine behind the effort, the foundation beneath the discipline, the fire that keeps you moving when everything else inside you says, stop. Without a strong why, everything becomes negotiable. With a strong why, nothing is. Human beings do not quit because they are weak. They quit because their why is weak. A weak why bends under pressure. A weak why collapses the moment hardship comes. A weak why disappears when you get tired. But a strong why carries you through storms, through doubt, through injuries, through heartbreak, through setbacks, through long nights and early morning. A strong why is a different kind of oxygen, and people who breathe that air can survive environments others suffocate in. Excuses are easy. Excuses come naturally. You never have to train yourself to make excuses. Make excuses. They show up like weeds in a garden, uninvited, unwanted, and capable of taking over everything if left unchecked. Excuses are the language of comfort. They protect your ego, shield your insecurities, and justify your inaction. They whisper things like, I'll start tomorrow. I'm too tired. Life is unfair. I don't have time. Don't have support. Not talented enough. Or I'm just not ready. Excuses feel good in the moment because they relieve you of responsibility, but they still fall more from you than they give. The only force powerful enough to destroy excuses is a why strong enough to overpower them. Your why must be so deeply connected to your identity that excuses feel like an insult to your soul. It must be so meaningful that quitting becomes more painful than continuing. It must be personal, emotional, and rooted in something real, not something shallow. Not something borrowed, not something temporary. A why that belongs to you comes from you. Finding your why is not a logical exercise. It is an emotional excavation. It is an emotional excavation. It is digging into your life and uncovering the things you care about so deeply that they pull you forward, even when your legs don't want to move. Some are driven by the desire to break generational cycles, to rise out of poverty, to make their parents proud, to give their children the opportunities they never had. Others are driven by the pain of their past, determined to make sure their history does not become their destiny. And some simply want to prove something to themselves, that they are capable, worthy, strong, disciplined, and deserving of the life they dream about. When your why is strong, excuses lose their influence. Think of a parent who wakes up at 4 a.m. even though they are exhausted. They do it because their why, feeding their family, protecting their children, creating a better life, is bigger than the excuse of I'm tired. Think of an athlete recovering from injury who trains through pain. Their way becoming a champion, honoring their craft, reaching their potential is bigger than the excuse of discomfort. Think of a student studying late into the night, pushing for a future they can barely imagine yet fully believe in. Their why is bigger than the excuse of I want to sleep. Excuses thrive in comfort. Whys thrive in purpose. If your life is built around comfort, excuses will always win. If your life is built around purpose, excuses never stand a chance. People often say, I want to be successful, but wanting is not a why. Wanting is a wish. A why is something you are willing to suffer for, sacrifice for, wake up for, and fight for A why is something that pulls you out of bed, even when your body aches. A why is something that forces you to keep going, even when progress is slow. A why is something that pushes you to ignore distraction, resist temptations, and silence the negative voices inside you. Your why is the foundation of your resilience. When you face challenges, and you will either lean on your excuses or lean on your why. Life will test you. It will knock the wind out of you. It will put obstacles in your path, distractions in your way, doubts in your mind, and fear in your heart. You cannot avoid difficulty. You can only prepare for it. And the greatest preparation is having a why so powerful that adversity cannot break your spirit. A strong why is emotional. Humans do not act from logic alone. If they did, we would all eat healthy, exercise daily, save money, work hard, and chase our dreams with discipline. But we don't, because logic does not drive behavior. Emotion does. When your why triggers emotion, it transforms into fuel. When your why makes you cry, makes you angry, makes you hungry, makes you determined, you become unstoppable. Your why has to hit deep enough that quitting feels like betraying yourself. People often look at others who succeed and assume they were lucky or born gifted, but most of the time, the difference is the strength of their why. A strong why creates consistency. A strong why creates courage. A strong why creates focus. A strong why creates persistence. A strong why creates results. Without a why, success is random. With a why, success becomes inevitable. But here's the truth most people avoid. Your why can't be weak, vague, or generic. I want more money is not a why. I want a nicer life is not a why. I want success is not a why. Those are outcomes, not reasons. Outcomes motivate you for a moment. Reasons motivate you for a lifetime. A real why is personal. It comes from your story. It comes from your pain, your dreams, your failures, your hopes, your losses, your upbringing, your struggles. It comes from something you experienced that left a mark on you so deep that it changed the way you see the world. Think of a child who grew up poor, watching their parents suffer and struggle. Their why becomes lifting their family out of hardship. Think of someone who was told they would never be good enough. Their why becomes proving themselves that they are capable. Think of someone who faced trauma or injustice. Their why becomes transforming pain into power. Think of someone who has a dream burning inside them, a dream that won't let them sleep. Their why becomes honoring that inner fire. Your why must mean so much to you that every excuse sounds childish compared to the magnitude of your purpose. Excuses are comfortable. Whys are uncomfortable. Excuses keep you still. Whys force you forward. Excuses make you average. Whys make you exceptional. Excuses feed your fear. Whys feed your potential. Whenever you start something new, whether it's a fitness journey, a business, a relationship, a degree, or a dream, you must identify your why before you begin. Because the moment difficulty appears, and you will return to whatever foundation you have built. If your foundation is excuses, you will crumble. If your foundation is purpose, you will rise. Your why must also evolve as you evolve. What motivates you at 18 might not motivate you at 28 or 38. Some people lose momentum not because they are lazy, but because their why expired. It no longer reflects who they are or what they want. You must revisit your why and strengthen it whenever necessary. Purpose is not something you choose once. It is something you reinforce continuously. When your why is strong, you stop needing motivation. Motivation is a push. Your why is a pull. Motivation fades. Your why remains. Motivation energizes you temporarily. Your why sustains you permanently. You can survive without motivation, but you cannot survive without a why. There will be moments when you doubt yourself, moments when you feel lost, moments when you feel drained. In those moments, your why becomes your compass. It reminds you where you are going and why you started. It gives you strength when you feel weak, courage when you feel scared, clarity when you feel confused. Your why must also be bigger than your past. If your why is anchored in regret, shame, or guilt, you may get temporary energy, but it will not carry you far. The strongest why is the why that is rooted in purpose, not punishment. It is the why that comes from a deep desire to grow, elevate, and become who you were meant to be. When Eric Thomas talks about having a powerful why, he speaks from experience. He was homeless. He was broken. He was lost. He had every excuse to give up. to settle, to disappear. But he had a why. His desire to break the cycle of poverty, to honor his grandmother, to build a life he had never seen. His why carried him through situations that would have crushed others. His why made his excuses irrelevant. That's the final truth. When your why becomes powerful, excuses stop sounding believable. They stop feeling reasonable. They stop having any authority over your actions. Your excuses stop controlling your decisions because your why becomes the voice you listen to. Every great accomplishment in human history came from someone whose why was bigger than the obstacles in front of them. People who endured pain, humiliation, rejection, doubt, and discomfort because their why burned brighter than their fear. And that same fire lives inside you. You just have to find it, strengthen it, protect it, and let it drive you. Because at the end of the day, it is not your circumstances, your environment, your resources, or your talent that determine your success. It's the strength of your why. And once your why becomes stronger than your excuses, nothing in the world can stop you. There are moments in life when the temptation to quit feels almost irresistible. The weight of everything you're carrying becomes too heavy, the obstacles feel too high, and the progress feels too slow. You look at the path ahead and you wonder if it's even worth anymore. Your mind whispers that maybe you should stop, maybe you should rest, maybe you should rest, maybe you should accept the life you already had, even if that life once made you miserable. But the truth is harsh and simple. If you quit now, you will return to the same frustration, the same emptiness, the same pain that made you start in the first place. You will go back to the version of yourself who cried, who prayed, who begged for change, who wished for a different future. And deep down, you know you don't want to return to that place. People often forget why they began their journey once the challenges begin to pile up. They lose sight of the desperation that fueled their decision to change. They forget the nights when they couldn't sleep because their life felt stuck. They forget the mornings they hated waking up because the days all felt the same. They forget the anxiety, the heaviness, the sense of being trapped. They forget the promises they made to themselves. They forget the tears. But the person you were at the beginning, the one who was tired of being tired, is still inside you. And that version of you is begging you not to quit. Quitting feels comfortable in the moment because it offers instant relief. You no longer have to push. You no longer have to struggle. You no longer have to fight through discomfort, but that relief is temporary. It fades quickly, and when it does, you're left with the same life you were running from. The same dissatisfaction, the same unhappiness, the same limitations, the same cycle, the same feeling of missing out on your potential. You end up doing the very thing you promised yourself you'd never do again. Settling. The journey toward your goals is rarely smooth. It is filled with unexpected obstacles, setbacks, failures, and moments of doubt. You will question your ability, your path, your strength. You will wonder if you're wasting your time. You will compare yourself to others who seem to be moving faster. You will feel alone in your struggle. You will feel exhausted. But none of these feelings are signs that you're supposed to quit. They are signs that you're growing, stretching, evolving, and breaking away from your old life. People want change without discomfort. They want transformation without sacrifice. They want progress without pressure. But that isn't how growth works. Growth is uncomfortable by nature. It demands that you let go of old habits, old mindsets, old excuses, old environments, old identities. And letting go is painful. It challenges your comfort zone. It challenges your old patterns. It challenges your ego. It challenges everything familiar. That pain is not punishment, it is the price of progress. When you think about quitting, ask yourself, what exactly are you going back to? You're not going back to comfort, you're going back to regret. You're not going back to peace, you're going back to frustration. You're not going back to stability, you're going back to the same chaos that pushed you out the door. That life didn't satisfy you then, and it won't satisfy you now. Your old life had limits, and that's why you left it. Your old life had cycles, and that's why you broke them. Your old life had fear, and that's why you faced them. Your old life had routines that suffocated you. Your old life kept you small. Your old life kept you struggling. Your old life kept you wishing for more. So why would you go back to something that didn't nurture you, didn't elevate you, didn't grow you, didn't fulfill you? Every time you think about quitting, you must remember the pain that made you start. Because the pain of staying the same is always worse than the pain of change. Change. There is a version of you that wakes up every day and goes to a job they hate. There's a version of you that has dreams, but no courage to chase them. There is a version of you that feels unseen, unheard, and undervalued. There is a version of you that is deeply unhappy, but too afraid to move. That version of you cried for help. That version of you prayed for a breakthrough. That version of you wanted out. And when you finally took that step towards something better, it was because you knew that staying where you were was slowly destroying you. When the journey becomes difficult, it does not mean you're failing. It means you're transitioning. You are no longer who you used to be, but you haven't yet become who you're meant to be. That in-between space is the most fragile and the most important. Most people quit in that space because they confuse difficulty with impossibility. They mistake discomfort for danger. They misinterpret pressure as a sign that they're on the wrong path. But pressure is proof that you're moving forward. If quitting could solve your problems, then maybe it would make sense. But quitting doesn't solve. It repeats. It restarts the cycle. It brings you back to square one. And starting over is always harder than continuing. Every time you quit, you train your mind to settle. You reinforce the belief that you cannot handle challenges. You weaken your resilience. You shrink your potential. You lose trust in yourself. And eventually, you convince yourself that success just isn't meant for you. But the truth is, success is not about talent. It is about endurance. It is about refusing to return to the life that tried to keep you small. It's about outlasting your old self long enough to grow into your future self. It is about pushing through the part of the journey where progress feels invisible. It is about keeping your promise to the person you used to be. Think about how far you've already come. Even if you don't see huge results yet, you've already made progress. You've already learned things. You've already grown. You've already built habits. You've already improved your mindset. You've already survived days you thought would break you. You've already proven you're stronger than the version of you who started. Don't disrespect your progress by quitting halfway. And remember this, the feeling of wanting to quit is a sign of proximity to growth. The closer you get to a breakthrough, the stronger the resistance becomes. The mind wants comfort, not change. Your excuses get louder. Your fears get louder. Your fears get louder. Your doubts get louder. The pressure intensifies. The obstacles multiply. But that's because you're entering new territory where your old identity can no longer survive. That resistance you feel is not a stop sign. It is a sign that you're about to evolve. The moment you choose not to quit, you immediately separate yourself from the person you used to be. The old you would have quit. The old you would have backed down. The old you would have walked away. But the new you stays. The new you fights. The new you endures. The new you pushes through. You owe it to yourself to become that new you. You owe it to your past self, who wanted better. You owe it to your future self, who deserves better. You owe it to your potential, which is limitless. You owe it to the people who believe in you. You owe it to the people who depend on you. You owe it to the dream burning inside you. No one starts a journey because they are comfortable where they are. They start because something inside them is tired of being stuck. And if you quit now, you go right back to the life that crushed that dream in the first place. You'll go back with more regret, more disappointment, more self-doubt. You'll go back knowing you were capable more but chose comfort instead. So before you quit, remember the nights you begged for change. Remember the pain that pushed you to begin. Remember the frustration that lit the fire. Remember the dreams that kept you awake. Remember the promises you made to yourself. Remember the reasons you wanted to leave that old place behind. You didn't come this far just to return to the place you escaped. You came this far because you were ready to grow. You came this far because you wanted a different life. You came this far because your soul demanded more. And deep inside, you know you're not done yet. There's a version of you that exists somewhere in the future. A version you haven't met yet, but are constantly shaping with every decision you make today. That future self is not some distant fantasy. It is a direct reflection of every action, every habit, every sacrifice, and every choice you make right now. Whether that future version of you becomes stronger, wiser, richer, healthier, happier, or more fulfilled depends entirely on how you live this very moment. People often talk about wanting a better future, But they forget that the future isn't something that happens suddenly. It is built slowly, quietly, one decision at a time. And your future self is watching, depending on you, counting on you to make the choices that lead to a life you can be proud of. The truth is that your daily choices shape your destiny more than your desires ever will. You can want success with all your heart. You can dream about a better life every day. But unless your actions align with your ambitions, nothing will change. Your future self knows this. Your future self knows that the things you choose today, whether you choose discipline or distraction, purpose or procrastination, growth or comfort, will determine whether that version of you gets to live the life you imagine or ends up trapped in regret. Every moment you choose progress, you invest in that future version of yourself. Every moment you choose excuses, you rob them of the life they could have had. Imagine your future self standing years ahead of you, watching your life unfold. They watch you wake up. They watch how you spend your time. They watch the habits you build. They watch the promises you keep or break. They watch the opportunities you chase or ignore. And the question becomes, are they proud of you? Are they grateful for you? Or are they suffering because of the decisions you refuse to make? This perspective changes everything, because suddenly the choices you make today are no longer just about the present. They are about protecting or harming your future. If you hit the snooze button every morning, your future self pays the price. If you skip studying, training, working, or improving yourself, your future self inherits the consequences. If you neglect your health, your mindset, your goals, or your finances, your future self carries the burden. But when you push yourself today, even when it's hard, your future self benefits. When you choose the uncomfortable path today, your future self grows stronger. When you choose discipline over distraction, your future self lives with more freedom. Every moment of effort today becomes a gift to your future self. People often underestimate the power of small choices. They think greatness comes from huge decisions, big moments, or dramatic turning points, but the truth is that the future is built through tiny, consistent choices. The future you becomes healthier because you decided to drink more water, walk more steps, lift more weights, and choose better meals. The future you becomes financially secure because you decided to save a little, invest a little, and spend wisely. The future you becomes confident because you practice skills, face fears, learn new things, and challenge your limits. None of these things are dramatic. They are small. Subtle choices made repeatedly until they create transformation. Every habit you build is a vote for the person you want to become. You build habits of discipline, your future will reflect strength. If you build habits of laziness, your future will reflect regret. If you build habits of distractions, your future will be filled with wasted potential. If you build habits of effort, your future will be filled with opportunities. The life you live today is a result of the habits you built in the past. And the life you will live tomorrow is a result of the habits you build today. Think back to moments in your life when you wished you had made better choices. Maybe you wish you had started earlier. Maybe you wish you had studied harder, trained more consistently, saved more money, or treated yourself with more care. That regret is your past self begging you to do better now. Imagine how much easier your life would be today if your younger self had made different choices. That's how your future self will feel if you ignore the opportunities in front of you now. That's why it is so important to think not just about the moment, but about the trajectory of your decisions. Your future self is shaped not by what you do once in a while, but by what you do consistently. Consistency is the silent architect of your destiny. It doesn't matter if you take a single step today. What matters is whether you take steps every day. Even slow progress is progress. Even small steps add up. The problem is not that people move too slowly. The problem is that they stop moving. They quit. They lose sight of the future. They trade their long-term dreams for short-term comfort. They trade self-respect for temporary pleasure. They trade ambition for convenience. But your future self cannot thrive in convenience. Your future self thrives in consistency. It's important to understand that everything in your life compounds. Your habits, your failure, your discipline, your negligence, your skills, your excuses. Nothing stays the same. If you do nothing, your problems grow. If you work, your potential grows. If you avoid challenges, your fears grow. If you face challenges, your courage grows. Your choices become seeds planted in the soil of time, and your future self lies in the garden you grow. If you plant laziness, your future is barren. If you plant effort, your future blossoms. There are moments in life when you will feel tired, discouraged, or overwhelmed. You will question whether the effort is worth it. You will wonder whether the sacrifices matter. But during those moments, imagine looking your future self in the eyes. Imagine them telling you, please don't quit. I need you to keep going. I need you to fight for me. That vision alone can be enough to carry you through the difficult days. Because the truth is that your future self cannot fight for you. Only you can fight for them. Only you can take the steps today that will build a life worth living tomorrow. People often make decisions based on how they feel in the moment, not based on what they want for the future. Feelings are temporary and unreliable. They come and go. They fluctuate with weather, energy, stress, and circumstances. But your future is permanent. It doesn't care how you feel today. It only cares what you do today. Your future does not depend on your mood. It depends on your choices. This is why discipline is so important. Discipline is not about being hard on yourself. It's about being loyal to your future self. It's about doing what you need to do even when you don't feel like it. It's about honoring the dreams you say you want. It's about building a life that reflects your potential, not your excuses. When you act with discipline, you send a message across time. I am preparing something better for myself. Every dream you have right now is depending on your actions. Dreams are fragile. They cannot survive without commitment. They cannot grow without effort. They cannot thrive without sacrifice. If your actions are inconsistent, your dreams remain stuck in your imagination. But if your actions align with your dreams, your future self gets to live the life you're dreaming of today. Your future self is watching the way you handle challenges. Every time you push through difficulty, you build resilience that benefits the future version of you. Every time you choose patience instead of frustration, you build emotional strength. Every time you choose to learn instead of complain, you expand your abilities. And every time you choose courage instead of fear, you open doors your future self will walk through with gratitude. There will also be people who try to pull you away from your goals, people who do not understand your vision, people who doubt your abilities, people who pressure you to stay the same. But those people are not responsible for your future. You are. They won't live with the consequences of your decisions. You will. They won't feel the regret of wasted potential. You will. They won't experience the pride of accomplishments. You will. That's why your choices must reflect your future, not their opinions. When you make decisions, ask yourself, what would my future self want me to do? This question alone can transform your life. Your future self always wants what is best for you. They always want you to grow. They always want you to level up. They always want you to choose long-term success over temporary comfort. And when your present self and your future self begin working together, you become unstoppable. Your future self is shaped in the quiet moments when no one is watching, when no one is praising you, when no one is holding you accountable. Your future self is shaped when you choose to study instead of wasting hours, when you choose to train instead of giving excuses, when you choose to save instead of spending impulsively, when you choose to build instead of procrastinating. Greatness is forged in solitude long before it is recognized in public. The question is not whether your future self is watching. It is whether you are making choices they will thank you for or choices they will regret. Will they look back and say, for not giving up on me? Or will they whisper, I wish you had tried harder? The answer depends on what you decide today. There's a misconception people have about champions, and it's one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves when we're struggling. We think champions don't feel like quitting. We think the greats wake up energized every day. We think the strongest people in the world always want to train, always want to grind, always want to push. But the truth, listen to me carefully, is that champions feel like quitting just as much as you do, maybe even more. They wake up tired. They wake up discouraged. They face moments where everything in them says, stop. What's the point? Why keep going? Champions are not immune to doubt. They just learn not to accept it as the final answer. People see the highlight reels, the trophies, the speeches, the celebrations. But they don't see the moments right before that success, when the champion was alone, breaking down mentally, fighting themselves just to stay in the game. They don't see the internal battles that happen behind closed doors, the conversations that happen in the mind, the voices that whisper, just give up. You're done. Every single champion has heard that voice. Every single champion has felt that way. Every single champion has stood at the edge of quitting. But they keep going, not because they don't feel like quitting, but because they refuse to let those feelings make decisions for them. And that's the difference. That's the separator. Not talent, not resources, not being born special. The separator is that champions understand that feelings are temporary, but the commitment they made to themselves is permanent. They know the body gets tired, the mind gets exhausted, the journey becomes overwhelming. But they also know that none of those feelings change the mission. Champions treat quitting like an option that's simply not on the table, even when their strength is gone. They find a way to stand, even when their motivation disappears. Their discipline steps forward. Even when they're scared, they still take the next step. You've got to understand something about yourself. The fact that you feel like quitting does not make you weak. It's a sign you're human. It's a sign you're pushing beyond your comfort zone. It's proof you are stretching your limits. Champions feel that too. The difference is that champions don't stop at feelings. They dig deeper. They reach into a layer of themselves that isn't fueled by excitement or adrenaline, but by purpose. Their purpose becomes the power source when their emotions run out. And you have to build that same internal generator. You have to cultivate a reason strong enough that quitting becomes more painful than continuing. Think about those moments in your own life when you wanted to quit. Your dream, your fitness journey, your job, your study, your relationship, your business. Think about how heavy it felt, how exhausted you were, how you didn't see results and started doubting yourself. Now, let me ask you something. How many times did you stop right before a breakthrough? How many times did you walk away? Not because you were incapable, but because it became uncomfortable. Champions don't magically escape these moments. They master them. They've learned that the mind will always try to protect them from discomfort, even when that discomfort is necessary for growth. Let's be real. Quitting is always easier than continuing. Stopping always feels better in the moment. Giving up gives you an instant relief, but later it fills you with regret. Champions know that comfort in the moment often leads to long-term pain, while discomfort in the moment leads to long-term success. They choose the discomfort. They choose the grind. They choose the pain. Not because they enjoy suffering, but because they understand that suffering has a purpose. Every rep, every failure, every setback, every moment they want to quit, but don't. These are the bricks that build greatness. Champions understand what consistency truly means. It means showing up especially when you don't want to. The average person shows up when it's convenient. Champions show up regardless. That's why they win. That's why they rise above. That's why they get the results most people only dream about. They train themselves to push through the days that feel impossible. They embrace the grind because they know growth doesn't happen on the easy days. Growth happens on the days when you want to stay in bed. Growth happens on the days when everything tells you to stop. Growth happens when quitting becomes tempting, but you choose to fight back. Here's something people rarely talk about. Champions don't just push physically, they push emotionally and spiritually. There are days when their body can keep going, but emotionally they're drained. There are days when their mind is sharp, but spiritually they feel defeated. Champions learn how to manage the invisible battles, the battles no one else sees. They talk to themselves differently. They control their narrative. They don't say, I can do this. They ask, how can I do this? They don't say, this is too hard. They say, this is what growth feels like. They don't run from resistance, they run toward it because they know the other side is stronger, wiser, better. Champions understand that the moment they feel like quitting is the moment they must push even harder. That's the moment their dreams are checking their loyalty. Are you serious about this or are you just motivated? Are you committed or just curious? Champions prove their commitment through action. They don't negotiate with their goals. They don't wait for perfect timing. They don't wait for motivation to magically return. They keep pressing forward because they know the victory belongs to the one who stays in the fight the longest. Every champion has a story of a moment when they almost quit. That moment becomes the turning point. That moment becomes the chapter that defines their career. That moment becomes the story they share with others to inspire them. And right now, you might be standing in one of those moments without even realizing it. You might be living a chapter that your future self would talk about someday. The chapter where you almost quit but did. The chapter where everything tried to break you, but you kept fighting. The chapter where your strength was gone, but your heart kept you moving. Imagine that version of you, stronger, wiser, disciplined, successful. Looking back at your current self, what would they say? They would say, oh, don't stop now. You're closer than you think. Keep going. Push through this moment. It's painful now, but it will be worth it. Champions see their future self as their teammate, not just an idea. They let that future pull them forward, and you must do the same. Then you must see beyond the exhaustion. You must see beyond the frustration. You must see beyond the temporary pain. There is something ahead waiting for you, but it requires a version of you that refuses to quit. Think about the people who depend on you, your family, your children, your community, the people you want to inspire. Think about your own dreams, your own goals, the life you want to live. Every time you quit, you get further from that life. Every time you push, you get closer. Champions understand the weight of their purpose. They know their choices don't just affect them. They affect everyone around them. When they push, others get inspired. When they rise, others believe they can rise too. When they win, others gain hope. Champions understand their fight is bigger than themselves. Champions also know that winning isn't always about first place. Sometimes winning means not giving up. Sometimes winning means showing up even when you're broken. Sometimes winning means surviving the day. Champions redefine victory. They understand that quitting is the only true failure. As long as they keep going, they are still in the game. They still have a chance. They still have hope. They still have power. The ones who quit early never get to see how the story ends. The ones who push through get to write the ending themselves. You have a champion inside you, even if you don't see it yet. Even if you feel weak right now. Even if you feel overwhelmed, defeated, tired, or lost. Those feelings don't define you. What defines you is your choice, your next step, your refusal to quit. The champion inside you grows every time you keep going when you don't want to. Every time you say, I just want more. Every time you rise after falling. Every time you keep fighting even when no one is watching. That's what makes you unstoppable. That's what makes you powerful. That's what makes you powerful. That's what makes you a champion. Not the absence of quitting thoughts, but the refusal to act on them. Champions understand one more thing. Quitting doesn't remove the desire. You still want the dream. You still want the life. You still want the success. Quitting just removes your chance of achieving it. Champions know the dream is worth the struggle. They know the journey is shaping them. They know the pain is building them. They know the process is preparing them for greatness. And every day, they choose greatness over quitting. Most people think success happens in front of the world. They think it's loud. They think it's glamorous. They think it's this bright, shining moment where everyone claps, cameras flash, opportunities come in waves, and suddenly your whole life changes. But the truth that nobody wants to talk about, is that real progress happens long before the world ever sees anything. Progress is quiet. Progress is lonely. Progress is hidden behind closed doors. Buried in the early mornings, nobody witnesses, and the late nights, nobody applauds. It's built in silence, in stillness, in secrecy. By the time the world sees something to celebrate, most of the work has already been done. People celebrate the final, but they never see the process. They see the transformation, but not the tears. They see the victory, but not the struggle. They see the champion, but not the training. They see the confidence, but not the thousands of moments filled with doubt. They see the spotlight, but not the long, dark hallway it took to even reach that stage. And because they don't see the silent battles, they assume success is magic, luck, or some special gift that only a chosen few possess. They fail to understand that what looks effortless in the end was anything but effortless in the beginning. When you start a journey, whether it's fitness, education, business, or personal growth, you're not going to get applause. There's no audience. Nobody is cheering for you when you wake up at 5 a.m. Nobody is clapping when you turn off your phone to study. Nobody is filming you while you're practicing the same skill over and over again. Nobody is there to congratulate you when you choose discipline over comfort. That silence can feel heavy. It can feel like you're invisible. It can make you question whether the work is even worth it. But the silence is where champions are built. The silence where your character forms. The silence is where your identity transforms. In the silence, you don't have applause to motivate you. You don't have approval to push you. You don't have encouragement to validate you. All you have is your determination, your self-belief, your commitment. If you can thrive in silence, if you can keep going when no one sees you, you become unstoppable. Because now your power doesn't come from external validation. It comes from internal discipline. Most people quit in the silence because they mistake being unnoticed for being unsuccessful. But silence is not the absence of progress. Silence is incubation. Seeds grow underground before they ever break the surface. You just don't see it yet. Think of every great achievement in history. The breakthrough happened publicly. But the work that created that breakthrough happened privately. When an athlete steps onto a field, people see the performance, not the countless hours of repetition that built it. When a student passes an exam with top marks, people see the grade, not the nights they spent alone at a desk while friends were out enjoying themselves. When a business takes off, people see the success, not the days the founder sat alone wondering if anyone would ever believe in the idea. The world claps when it sees results, but it never claps during the grind. And you must be okay with that. You must learn to trust the process even when no one acknowledges the work. Progress doesn't announce itself. It doesn't come with signs, alarms, or fireworks. It grows quietly, gradually, like the slow rising of the sun before most people wake up. Sometimes you're making progress, but don't realize it because the changes are subtle, internal, invisible. Your discipline is growing. Your mindset is developing. Your endurance is increasing. Your habits are strengthening. You may not see results yet, but something inside you is changing. And that internal change is far more important than the external results, because once the internal shifts happen, the outer results become inevitable. People underestimate the power of consistency because consistency doesn't feel dramatic. It's not exciting. It's not glamorous. It's boring most days. But consistency creates momentum. Momentum creates results, and results create transformation. Champions understand this. They know progress is like water dropping on stone, small, repetitive actions that eventually cause the impossible into reality. The world only notices after the carving is done, but the stone remembers every drop. You're going to have days when you feel like nothing is changing. Days when you step on the scale and the number doesn't move. Days when you study for hours but still don't understand the subject. Days when you post content and nobody reacts. Days when you work on your craft and it still feels average. Days when you practice but still stumble. Those days are crucial. Those days are where the silent growth is happening. Those days separate the dreamers from the doers, the wishers from the workers, the average from the elite. If you keep going on those days, you're already ahead of most people. People love to talk about overnight success, but nobody mentions that overnight often means 10 years. Nobody mentions the failures, the heartbreaks, the sacrifices. Nobody mentions the days when you question your entire path. Nobody mentions the nights when you had to encourage yourself because there was no one else to do it. Nobody mentions the mornings when the alarm went off and you didn't feel like getting up, but you got up anyway. That's progress. That's what real growth looks like. Unseen, uncelebrated, unglamorous. Sometimes progress feels like standing still. Sometimes it feels like you're going backward. Sometimes it feels like your effort is going into a void. But effort is never wasted. Every repetition strengthens the muscle, even if you don't see the difference today. Every hour of study strengthens your knowledge, even if the lesson didn't click yet. Every day you show up, you're building a habit that will carry you when motivation disappears. Every step you take is a deposit into your future success. Just because the world can't see the balance in your account yet doesn't mean the deposits aren't being made. Think of bamboo. For years, nothing grows above the soil. You water it, nurture it, protect it, but nothing seems to happen. Then suddenly in one season, it shoots up feet at a time. Did it really grow overnight? No. It grew in silence, underground, in the unseen spaces. The visible growth was simply the final reveal of years of invisible progress. That's how your progress works too. You may feel unseen right now. You may feel like nothing is happening, but something is happening. Growth is happening beneath the surface. You just haven't reached your breakout season yet. You have to become the type of person who doesn't need an audience to perform. You have to become the type of person who doesn't need applause to take the next step. You have to become the type of person who knows that silence is not a sign to stop, but a sign to dig deeper. Let the silence become your training ground. Let the silence shape your discipline. Let the silence sharpen your focus. Let the silence strengthen your resolve. Champions use the silence as fuel. Others use it as an excuse. Which one will you be? There's something powerful about working in silence because silence eliminates comparison. When you're grinding alone, you're not looking at what others are doing. You're not measuring your progress against someone else's timeline. You're not distracted by external pressure or opinions. You get to craft your own pace, your own rhythm, your own journey. You become more connected to your own voice, your own mission, your own identity. And when you finally step into the spotlight, you do it as a complete version of yourself, not a copy of someone else, not someone driven by validation, but someone built on self-trust. The silence also teaches patience. We live in a world of shortcuts. People want fast money, fast success, fast results. They want instant transformation. They want progress without the process. But real success respects time. Real transformation requires patience. Greatness cannot be microwaved. The silence teaches you to wait without quitting, to work without recognition, to believe without evidence, to keep watering the seed even when the soil looks dry. And when the results finally come, and they will come, people will say you're lucky. They'll say you're gifted. They'll say you're blessed, and you're blessed. They'll say things were easy for you. They'll say you had help. They didn't have. What they won't say is that while they were sleeping, you were working. While they were complaining, you were practicing. While they were waiting for motivation, you were building discipline. While they were chasing attention, you were building skill. And when the spotlight finally hits you, it won't be the light that makes you shine. It will be the preparation you built in the dark. You must remember this. The world only celebrates the visible results. But you have to celebrate the invisible progress. You have to learn to be proud of the small wins. Waking up early, choosing discipline, staying consistent, showing up even when you're tired. These small wins compound into massive transformation. Big successes are built from tiny daily victories that nobody sees. The silence, where you discover your true hunger. It's easy to act motivated when people are watching. It's easy to work hard when people praise you. It's easy to give 100% when you know you'll be rewarded immediately. The silence strips away all those external factors and leaves you with the truth. Do you want this or not? Are you committed or just inspired? Are you willing to work when no one sees you? Because that's where the real difference between average and extraordinary is found. The most successful people in the world aren't the ones who perform best in front of the crowd. They're the ones who perform best when the crowd is gone. They treat the practice like the performance. They treat the preparation like the moment of glory. They give everything when nobody is watching so that when the world finally sees them, the performance looks effortless. It's not effortless, it's rehearsed, it's refined. It's the outcome of countless silent hours that built the competence and confidence people now admire. When you're in the silence, don't rush it. Don't resent it. Don't run from it. Use it. The silence is your advantage. It's your proving ground. It's your laboratory where you experiment, fail, learn, grow, and adapt. It's the environment where you can make mistakes without judgment, where you can fail without an audience, where you can develop without pressure. The silence gives you the freedom to evolve. You have to trust that silence is part of your journey. You have to trust that the work you're doing matters even if nobody sees it. You have to trust that your breakthrough is coming, even if you don't see signs yet. You have to trust that your progress is compounding, even if the results haven't surfaced. You have to trust yourself when no one else does. Because the truth is this, your success won't come from the moments where everyone is cheering. It will come from the moments where you're alone, tired, frustrated, and you choose to keep going anyway.